everybody, welcome to this wonderful reading. I'm Joy Alex, welcome. So basically in this reading for May 29th, May 30th, and June 1st of 2025. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this whole entire reading. This is not going to be a null signs reading. This is going to be what's going on through this whole entire sequence about what's happening. Because in my own theory, in my own interpretations of how it is, I think that everything seems to be all great and finalized, but then you have to understand about how you can do it, how you can emphasize your own ways about how it is, right? You have to understand that the way of how this is, the way of society is, you have to know exactly how it is from your own beliefs, your own ways of wisdom, and everything else. You know, there are things that you must learn first. In order to do that, you need to understand about where you need to focus on your emotions, your own feelings, your own wants, your own needs, whatever it is. But whenever you get distracted, whether your feelings are hurt, whether, things are not going as planned, you have to pay attention to it. You have to pay attention on what's happening in that dialogue, Because when you have a dialogue, you pay attention on how it is one with another. It's like, this is the way it seems to be, I need to do. That's how it is, right? You have to pay attention on whether you have to be your own gut feelings, because you have to pay attention to it. What I mean by gut feelings is that you have to use your own intuition, You have to believe that everything seems to be fine, then what have you. But then you have to know exactly how it is, right? That's why when you have to have your own point of view, you get your own point. You're going to say, alright, well, I know what to do. I understand that. That's the way it goes, right? That's what it seems to be. And you have to know from your own strengths, your own weaknesses, your own abilities, from understanding that. That's the way how it kind of imposes that. That's what it seems to be. So, this is the way it kind of goes in one or another, and this is the way it seems to be in that way. So it's like, okay, well, everything seems to be fine, then you what have you, but this is how it is. So this oracle card, it says perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to, so that's how it is. When you're using your own perseverance, it's like you're persevering on how everything is, that's the way it goes. But then you have to understand that, right? So when you need your own process or your own abilities, you know exactly what you're going to be doing. That's how it is. Because you have to pay attention to it, right? You have to understand about how you can do it as one or another. But then it's like, okay, well, this is the way it seems to be. I know what to do. I got this. It's like, alright, this is the way it seems to be, right? So when you use your own perseverance, you need to do that, right? This is the way of how it is. But, this is the way it seems to be in that way. That's how it kind of goes, right? Let's see what's happening. So, I'm just going to do exactly what it is, right? So this is the way it seems to be. And this is how it's going to be imposing of this situation. So let's see what's happening here. Alright. So let me look at this whole entire reading for you guys and ladies who are watching this video as well. So basically in this whole entire reading, it's like this is the way it seems to be. You're the Ace of Cups reversed, like there is no romance situation here. The King of Cups reversed, there's no support yet, don't know. The Two Wands is already you're playing on what to do. So, you could view it in a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius as it is. The Seven Pentacles upright because you're going to be looking for a career, that's the way it goes. The Judgment reverse, you're not taking action, and the Empress reverse, there's no nourishment, that's the way it goes. But the way how this is, the way of how everything seems to be, it's like, okay, I know what to do, I got this, alright, no complaints. But the way how this is, the way how you need to understand that, that's the way it seems to be. So, I'm going to clarify. And I'm going to clarify between the King of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Page of Pentacles reversed, the Star reversed, but the Temperance is upright. Yeah, because you're healing, right? So you're healing because you are healing on the basics about what's happening, right? You could be healing about an argument, maybe you're healing like there was some things that you need to understand or cool off, whatever it is. But then it's based on that. It's based on how your own religion or how it is, right? That's the way it seems to be in that way. So what's happening between the Star and the Page of Pentacles? The Five of Swords, sorry, yeah, because there's conflict here, right? So when you're not getting along and you're healing, because it's like you're fighting, you know, it's like why I'm having this problem, why I'm not understanding this, because it's like you have to understand that, right? So you could be dealing with another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius as zodiac signs, as air signs, but you pay attention on what's happening that way, right? It's like you need to understand that, how you can understand and level off your own anger rather than just, put upon on it. You know what I mean, right? That's what it seems to be. You have to know exactly what you're doing, but you have to know exactly how it seems to be. You got this, and you have to understand that. That's the way it happens nowadays, because you have to understand how it is. What's happening between the two wands here? The Judgment is upright, followed the Eight of Wands is upright, followed the Eight of Cups is upright. Yeah, because you want to be an entertainer, you want speed, you want to take action, because that's the way it goes. It's like, okay, I know what to do, I got this, alright. But because it seems to be that. You have to improve yourself wisely, because everything has to be all, perfect and all great, and, that's the way it seems to be. It doesn't matter, like, you have this, but you have to know what it is. So, you can be dealing with another, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You could be dealing with Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, fire signs, water signs, zodiac signs as well. But you pay attention on that, right? That's how it is. What's happening between the Judgment and the Ten of Pentacles? The Five of Pentacles, the Chariot is upright, followed by the Two of Cups reversed. Yeah, because you're not having any relationships or friendships yet. It's like everything is like, all great, but thinking, no, it doesn't. It's not going to give you the Midas touch, That's what it seems to be. It's like, why I'm having this problem, why I'm not doing this, because, things are not going as planned. It's like, why I'm feeling like this, why I'm having all these problems, because you have to look at it from a different way, different angle, a different aspect, a different, the way how you can see it, that's what it seems to be. So what's happening between these Two Cups here? The Four of Swords reversed, followed the Knight of Pentacles upright. Yeah, because you're going to have trust. When you have trust, you're able to trust and, do exactly what you're told to do, because you have to be responsible, right? And when you be responsible, you know how it is, where you're taking your own actions, and the way how this is like, okay, I know what to do, I know how I can understand it. That's the way it seems to be. So what's up between this Knight of Pentacles to this Empress? The Knight of Swords is upright, followed the Two of Wands reversed, followed with the King of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, because there's no insecurity, there's no planning, but you have the Knight of Swords upright because there's drama here, right? When you have a drama crisis, it's basically, not good, right? It's like, why I'm feeling like this, because you have to understand the way how this is. You have to progress. You have to, how it is. It's like you're not pouting, or you're not having that, right? You're not mope around and say, all right, I know what to do, but that's the way how it goes, right? That's the way it seems to be. What's between these Two Wands and the King of Pentacles? The High Priestess is upright, yeah, because you want to use your inner voice. Things that you must learn first. In order to do that, you have to know exactly what direction you're going to go to, That's why it seems to be that. It's like how I'm going to be processing, why I'm doing this, why I need to interact with this, because that's the way it goes, And you have to see it in my own, in this whole entire reading. That's the way it goes. So let's see what's going on from the left side. So I'm going to clarify this way, and this way, and then I'm going to clarify the right side as well. So let's see. The Hermit reversed, the Wheel of Fortune reversed, but the Hierophant is upright. Yeah, because when you have the Hermit reversed, you already have a soulmate. That's how it is. The Wheel of Fortune reversed, you're having bad luck. Obviously, that's what you're doing, because it's like, well, I'm having this bad luck because I'm not feeling so good. But that's the way it goes, right? That's why you need to have guidance, because you pay attention on what you're going to be going through in the way of how it is. It's like, okay, everything seems to be fine. That's why it seems to be that. Because you have to have understanding about the way it happens in that, the way how it is, right? Everything is not perfect, but you have to understand that, everything seems to be the way how it goes. That's how it is, right? What's happening between the Judgment and the Eight Cups here? The Chariot is upright, for the Strength card is upright, for the Lovers reverse. Yeah, because you're not making any decisions. You have strength for bravery, and the Chariot is upright. There's progress. That's the way it seems to be. You know, that's the way it happens. What's happening with this Chariot? With this Lovers here? Magician reverse, for the Judgment reverse, for the Emperor reverse, the High Priestess reverse, the Sun card reverse. Yeah, because you're in negativity. When you're in negativity, it's like, why I'm feeling like this? Why? Because when you're negative, it's like you're not trying to get yourself out of it. It's like, well, you know, I know what to do, but you can't tell me what to do. You know, that's the way it seems to be. It's like you have to think before you act. You know, that's why it seems to be. What's between the right side, please? Justice reversed. Follow the Temperance is upright. Follow the Tower reversed. Follow the Moon reversed. Follow the Stars upright. Yeah, because there's inspiration here. You know, you're using Temperance for healing. You know, when you do that, that's the way it goes. You have a wish upon a star about, you know, wishing upon or something. That's the way it goes. The Justice reversed, you're not telling the truth. You know, you're lying about something. So there are things that you're trying to understand on the way how it goes, right? What's in the middle between the High Priestess and the Knight of Swords here? The Death card reversed, so there's no endings. Okay. The Hangman reversed, there's no restrictions. With the Fools upright, there is basically change. You know, so there are going to be changes that are going to come up as it seems to be. So let me clarify. I'm going to clarify the Sun card on the left side. The Justice upright, so you're telling the truth. But the Wheel of Fortune is upright, you're you know, when it's reversed, I mean, not upright, but when it's reversed, it means that you're having bad luck. It's like, okay, so you're telling the truth. It's like, okay, but you're not making lies. That's basically interesting. So I know that you're trying to pay attention, but you're telling the truth, but then you're not telling the truth. That's very interesting. What's happening between the right side with this Justice card? The World is upright, there's completion, but the Strength card is upright, yeah, because you want to have bravery. Yeah, because you want to be brave, right? And when you do that, it's like, okay, how it is, right? So you could be dealing with Leo as a fire sign, as a zodiac sign, you know? That's the way it goes. Because that's what it seems to be. What's happening between this Fool card? The Star is upright, so there's inspiration. The Hangman is upright, there's restrictions. Okay, alright. What's between this, the way how this is, you know, that's the way it goes. You have restrictions, you know, that's the way how it ends. The Star is upright, there's inspiration. You know, that's the way it kind of goes. Because you have to pay attention on how it is, right? That's why you have to go with the flow, you know? That's why it seems to be. What's happening between the Wheel of Fortune and the Hermit? The Lovers reversed, okay. The Sun reversed, so there's negativity. The Tower reversed, there's no transformation. But the High Priestess is upright, you're going to use your inner voice. Yeah, because things are not looking as good. Because you're thinking, well, you know, I don't know what to say, what to do. But then it's like, okay, well, if I'm using the word perseverance, I know what to do. It's like, yeah. But you need to understand that the way of how this is, the way how everything's going to be a temptation, you know. It's like you're attempting that you want to do something right, but you're doing something wrong, you know. When you're doing something wrong, you're not feeling as good. You're feeling like, you know, well, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. You know, that's the way it seems to be. But you need to understand you have to have your own ways of knowing what to do, right? You have to understand that the way how this is, you have to show some sympathy, some empathy, whatever it is. But you know what I mean, right? That's the way it kind of goes, right? So I know about this whole entire reading because it makes sense, right? It does make sense. So let's see what's going on. Basically in the middle of this situation. So the Chariot reverse. So there is no progress. Okay, so you know when you have no progress, it's like, okay, well, you don't have any progress right now. All right, but you know, hear me out. It's like you need to understand about who's doing this, in that way. So I'm going to tell you who's on the left side, who's on the right, and we don't know who's in the middle. But that's the way it kind of goes, right? So let's see who's on the left side. We have the Rainbow Prince, compensation, perseverance. Yeah, because that's the way it goes, right? It's like you need to be who you are, and where you have your own ways about considering. You pay attention to it. So whether you have perseverance, whether you have your own way and understand about your compensation, whatever it is, you pay attention to it, right? That's what it seems to be. So you can be duous and another feminine as a woman here, because that's the way it seems to be on the left side here. So basically a feminine, it could be a prince as the man situation, it could be that, What's happening on the right side? The High Lord of gratitude and service, selflessness, humility, conscious action. That's the way it goes, right? So you have to believe that you need to pay attention, whether you're feeling okay, whether you're going to be having your own way about knowing what to do, because that's how it seems to be, right? It's like, alright, I know what to do, I got this, because that's what it seems to be in that way, right? So you have to pay attention on how you're feeling in that way. So you can be dealing with another man as a situation, right? So if you're dealing with a man on the right side, you're dealing with a man on the left side, It could be a feminine, it could be not, but you know what I mean, right? A feminine is a woman, and a masculine man is a man, right? As a guy, right? So you pay attention on how you're feeling and how you're going to be doing it. What's also with this Chariot card here? The Knight of Cups is upright, yeah, because you want to have romance. So you can be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, as it is, right? So we know who's who in this own way of how it is. So let me try to figure out what's happening. So let's see. So I'm going to go from the middle to the right, middle to left. It's going to be very different indeed. So 8 of Swords here, there's no anxiety. King of Cups right there, support. Ace of Pentacles here, there's no growth. Judgment's right there, going to take action. 5 of Cups reverse, there's no grief. The Page of Cups reverse, there's no loyalty. 6 of Wands reverse, there's no achievement. The Hierophant reverse, there's no guidance. But the Queen of Wands is alright, there's charisma. Alright, that's the way it goes. So I understand that when you have support, when you have action, when you have charisma, you pay attention on how it feels, on how it goes. What's up between this Ace Pentacles here? The 10 of Pentacles is alright, yeah, because you want wealth, right? You want money. You want the things to be happening in that way. It's like, okay, everything seems to be fine. I got this. It's like, yeah, but you need to pay attention to it, right? You have to know exactly what it takes. So what's happening between the middle and the left side here? Page of Pentacles here, there's no prospects. Page of Swords reversed, there's no education. 6 of Swords right there is movement, exactly. 4 of Wands right there is celebration. The Strength of reversed, there's no bravery. Strength of right there's a delusion. King of Pentacles right there's security. Yeah, exactly. Because you know exactly what it takes, and beyond about that way of knowing what's happening, it's like, okay, I know what to do, I got this. But then you have to figure out who's who in this way, right? It's like, okay, I know what to do, I going to do it. That's how it seems to be. It's like when you have no bravery, but you're feeling scared one way, and you're feeling like, it's like you're having basically bravery on the other way. You pay attention to it. That's why it seems to be in that way. What's in the middle of the situation? The 6 of Pentacles here is there's no kindness. It's like you're being unkind. But then you have 10 of Swords is already there's conclusions. Yeah, because the way you have this is, the way if you're having no kindness whatsoever, and you're having all these conclusions, because it's like, the universe is saying, like, back off, leave me alone, or you're saying it. But the way how this is, the way how I'm going to, try to understand this, it's like, you're trying to level off of how you're feeling. You know, you're basically telling me in this whole entire reading, you're telling me that you don't want the universe to help you. But you know why? If you have conclusions and you are basically, being like, you're having a deja vu moment or whatever it is, it's like why you're acting like this. You have to pay attention on how things are. You have to look at them from a different perspective. You have to say that why I'm acting like, rude, or why I'm acting like unkind or whatever, because you need to understand that. You need to understand about how you're feeling in one way or another, because you have to, take a step back rather than taking a step forward. You know what I mean, right? You know exactly how it takes, right? If, that's the way it seems to be, right? It's like that's the way kind of how it is, right? So you have to pay attention on how you're feeling, and based on how it is like how you can understand of how it seems to be, right? So this is the way it seems to be, and this is the way it kind of goes. So let's see what the reading is. So we have the number 7 reverse is into the unknown, so it's going to be reversed. Alright, let's see. So it says reversed. For into the unknown reversed, it says inexperience plus overconfidence can lead you into a dangerous situation for which you are unprepared. Always remember that wisdom comes from experience. Keep an open mind and enter this part of your journey with alert eyes. Don't assume you know this territory. You may not recognize what is hidden by camouflage. This is not a time for careless adventure. So it means that basically you are in a dangerous situation, because the way of how I'm trying to say this, not to scare, whoever is going to be watching my channel, but the way how this is, it's like you have to pay attention on how you're going to represent yourself, as in like, if you're being kind to somebody, you're going to accept to be kind. If you're being, where you're being harassed, or you're being bullied, or you're being unkind, whatever, it's like, why you're having all these issues, why? So it's like, you need to understand about the way how you're trying to accept on how it is. You have to understand that, right? Because the way of how this is, you know what it takes, because about that way how it seems to be, right? That's why you have to impose of what's going on, because that's the way it seems to be. It's like, alright, well, I know what to do, I got this, alright. That's the way it seems to be. When you do that, you need to understand about the way how it goes, right? This is the way of how it seems to be, right? You need to understand about, if the universe is telling you what to do, or if you're hearing it or whatever it is, you pay attention to it, right? If you have a gut feeling there's something bad happens, you know exactly there's something happening, right? You have to pay attention, because you need to understand about the way how you feel, the way how you act, the way how you can understand the way how this is, right? So you have to pay attention on what's happening, and that's how it is, right? That's the way it kind of goes. But I hope you all like this video. Please give a like, please give a comment if you want, but this is the way it seems to be, and this is the way it kind of happens in one way or another. But thank you so much, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Thank you, bye for now, really, thank you, and bye.